Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Week 16 episode of NFL Afters, brought to you by our dear friends at PointsBet. My name, rather sadly today, because football's getting to the end of that pointy end of the season where, yes, the stakes are higher, but your fantasy team's probably out, hands up. The team that you go for, sadly, is also out, hands up. But I am Laurie, even with a mildly frowning face today. But I'm joined by someone who's a little more jubilant. His name starts with that same letter. It is
Jimmy.
Still only one
Go
name because
Birds!
he is in, as you can see, he's rocking a jersey of a certain team. It has a Super Bowl logo on it. He's very proud.
This is a Cooper DeJean Super Bowl jersey. I mean, we can get to the game later, but I just want to shout him out for a couple of reasons.
Oh, okay.
The interception, which was the touchdown celebration with the little nod to John Cena, who's now retired.
Yeah, cheesy as I'd expect from your mob.
And then apparently he's dating Nikki Bella.
Yeah, which better. Like to do that celebration in relation to that. Yeah, now we have layers.
She put up photos of she's in the locker room.
What?
Change room,
I don't know. I don't recognize this world anymore, Jimmy. And you know what? I don't recognize the results I see when I watched out across the NFL.
Just quickly, I know you're a little sad, but I actually have something throughout the podcast because this is a holidays edition.
It is
because we're going to be off until. I did look at
early
this
Jan.
Early Jan.
About Jan 5, we'll be back. We've got a late season bye week.
Yeah, we're going to take some time off. Spend
much like I was accused of being in my fantasy league, a late season bye week. We have a late season bye week next week.
But I thought throughout this episode I could just give us some Chrissy jokes. You know what I mean? If that's all right?
Yeah, sure.
I got a couple here.
Yeah.
Why did the Christmas tree go to the doctor?
Oh, I have no idea.
It was looking a little green.
Ooh, this was meant to make me feel better, Jimmy.
Okay, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Is it you? Okay. What did one Christmas tree say to the other Christmas tree? Hey, lighten up. It's going to be a great episode, guys.
Oh, guys, please stay with us. Like, really, please stay with us. We have some good stuff coming on. No, but I don't understand the world we live in. I don't understand the results that we live in. Because what I watched today, what I watched over the weekend, football, some great stuff. But it felt like, does anybody want this? Does anybody want this? Does anybody want this? Do you really want it? Or alternatively, nothing means nothing, to quote the late, great Macho Man Randy Savage. Because nothing means nothing. Looking at the non-battle for the top seed in the AFC, looking at results, the performances we saw from people like a Bo Nix today, the Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills threatening to throw it all away against Shadua, who got banged up and had to leave this game. We got some Dylan Gabriel red zone action.
A lot of quarterbacks leaving.
Yeah, we learned.
They didn't want it. To answer your question, they didn't want it.
Lamar Jackson left, and they still almost knocked off the New England Patriots in Sunday Night Football. And we learned why some backups are backups because, there was some pretty grim football. Quinn Ewers, whilst Tua is not the future, neither is Quinn Ewers in Miami.
Yeah.
We're down to quarterback number 17 in Kansas City. With another ACL injury, this time Gardner Minshew going down to the quarterback.
So is that what's the worst part about telling Tua that he's no longer the starting quarterback?
What?
Having to tell him again and again and again.
Okay, and
Roll Tide!
What you can hear now is Disney security coming to grab Jimmy's joke book for the rest of the episode.
I'm on today.
You're on. Nobody else is on. It's very quiet and lost.
It's all got quiet.
That's how you snuck the jokes in.
Yeah.
Normally that'll get picked up coming through, swiping through.
Do you want to I have another one. We've been doing these 3 weeks in a row now. The Would You Rather.
Yeah. Okay.
So this came up on the broadcast the other night during a game. I won't say what game it is yet. But I want you to pick between these two quarterbacks. All right. So the first quarterback has started 82 games. Record is 36 and 46. Passing yards 17,879 and has 107 passing touchdowns. Quarterback number 2, very similar, 79 games started. Record is better, 54 and 25. 17,421 yards, basically the same amount of yards, and 104 passing touchdowns, basically the same amount of passing touchdowns. Yep. Do you want quarterback A or do you want quarterback B?
Can you give me the win-loss record one more time?
Win-loss, quarterback 1, quarterback A is 36-46.
Yes.
And quarterback B is 54 and 25.
54 and 25. Give me. I'm going on the spirited losing quarterback who puts up numbers. Give me quarterback A.
Okay, you've picked Marcus Mariota.
Oh, good.
And quarterback B is Jalen Hurts.
I'm happy with my decision.
No, but I was very presently because I mean, you know, us Eagles fans, we will.
I'm aware of you.
We will have a go at our own team members, teammates, but we'll also protect our own. Like we can have a go at people, but you can't.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
And we've defended Jalen, and I think a lot of Eagles fans would be surprised. Like apart from the record, starts are basically the same. Passing yards are 17,000. Passing touchdowns are basically the same. But I think most people would go after Marcus Mariota for not having a great career.
Can you give me games played again? 81 and 82?
82 and 79.
Okay, can you give me the passing yardage again?
17,879, 17,421.
Okay. Touchdowns?
Touchdowns, 107, 104.
And interceptions?
Don't have interceptions.
Okay. And people wonder why we still go back to the well with someone like Joe Burrow. Because in 74 games, we're looking at nearly 70% completion rate, nearly 20,000 yards, 148 touchdowns, and 50 interceptions. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio, which is quite tidy.
Yeah.
On some woeful teams. Now, it doesn't give you the rushing production, particularly like you think the power running game of Jalen Hurts, but that's interesting to know. It's interesting to know. And you guys,
in my head, I would have had Jalen somewhere a lot, but they're nearly the same.
Super Marcus Mariota. Yeah. Super Mariota had some moments there in Tennessee.
We could have been protecting Marcus Mariota. We're protecting Jalen Hurts. Game. Eagles 29, Commanders 18.
Sure.
I mean, I do have a lot of thoughts off the top. Cowboys officially eliminated from the postseason, so that was fun.
That's nice that they're officially done. They were gone from my reckoning a little while ago.
We're going to chat about some fights throughout this podcast. Yes. Tyler Steen was ejected.
Yep.
Didn't know he was a fan of Red Dragon, bringing back the Biff and landing more blows than Jake Paul.
Correct.
This one hurts. And this goes out, I'm going to do the ISO here. This one goes out to all my friends and family, whether they be here in Australia, they be overseas in America. Mm-hmm. Stop sending me Missy Elliott photos and memes for Jake Elliott. He has been a great servant of our team for a long time. And yes, I'm aware things aren't great at the moment, but I don't appreciate you. And also sending some people, one of my mates overseas was sending me Missy Elliott songs like on Spotify. I was like, every time he missed, another one came in. I was like, they're my top three takeaways.
What we need is him to successfully make a kick, then get it called back on a flag, and then miss it because then you're flipping down. Flip it. Reverse it. There you go.
And I'm upset because Cameron Dicker has been so good. We had him and then just went, meh.
Yeah. Look, after what David Akers did in a very high octave trying to answer Drew Pearson at a draft recently, any Philadelphia Eagles kicker that's copying meme treatment, I'm fine with. Look, my warning out of this, and it was going around our group chats and stuff today, and people were just like, "Oh, I don't know what to make of this. Who's coming out of these divisions, these conferences, etc." And I said, "Guys, this is starting to feel Eaglesy. Like Eagles are going to get healthier. Yep. I don't know anybody else. Like again, the schedule's been nice, and they got the Bills next, and then they get another soft landing with Commanders in Week 18. Probably going to play enough starters to get the win there because you're probably going to be in the mix for the 2-3 seed, I'd say. But who else is getting Lane Johnson and Carter back? Players of that ilk. You guys can honestly, you could rest everyone next week. Let Lane get even healthier. You could rest Lane until mid-January at this point.
Yeah.
And just get super healthy and let the draw fall where it may and lean on some strengths as we get into cold weather football. But it's starting to just, I don't know. Today was the first day they got that feeling. On my schedule's worked out nicely. They're tightening some things up. Saquon's had, not an iconic play today. This weekend, but it was iconic.
Still got me up in the group chat. I was like, "Hey,
his version of a beast quake." Yeah. So yeah, that's my big takeaway. Is that just things are. We talk so much up and downs about this season. The Eagles have been in the spotlight for good and bad at different points of the season, but given the championship pedigree and given like roster trending in the right direction. It's starting to feel a little Eaglesy in the NFC.
Feels good. That's why I've got my Super Bowl jersey on. Shout out Cooper DeJean and Nikki Bella.
Shall we? Next up.
You got a sneaky snake.
I got a sneaky snake.
Oh, Laurie.
Look.
Sneaky snake.
Sneaky snake. Right. Sneaky snake take this week. Drake May and the Patriots almost threw that one away against the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens. Yep. Mentioned Josh Allen, the Browns. That was almost undone. Josh Allen. A lot of people would have ridden Josh Allen to the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah,
and they probably came undone today because that was rough going. Not so much for James Cook. Matthew Stafford put up huge numbers, but in that we told you. By the way, I'll find the ISO. We told you to tune in for that
game,
that Friday football Thursday.
I picked Rams. You picked Seahawks.
Wasn't feeling great earlier in that contest.
I was like, hey.
Sammy was seeing specters of the unknown once again. I'm not going to say the G word.
It's because those helmets look like Jets helmets. He didn't know what team he's playing for anymore.
You mentioned that. You're like, oh, it's the green.
It's the green.
Gotta watch the Shades of Green.
Shades of Green, guys. He played for the Jets. What are we doing?
But, Stav put up huge numbers, but that's a big loss in a big spot. These quarterbacks, Dak is out of reckoning for MVP because they're not
really.
But you're looking at like big numbers quarterbacks, like he's the passing yardage, up there. And
only a couple of quarterbacks. We'll mention that later. Only a couple of 4,000 yards.
So my sneaky snake take is give Myles Garrett the MVP. He is so close to breaking that record. Hopefully, he does it next week against the Steelers, so that we don't get the asterisk to it with the games played. But just let it rip and give it to him. The QBs they're not showing us that they want it enough. Yeah. Right? We're not getting these big landmark performances late in the season. How much do you want it? Mention the results this week. So put a smile on Myles Garrett's face. He did not have a smile on his face at the press conference.
You got the half a sack they gave it to him, didn't he?
You got half a sack. It's thoughts better that one than Michael Strahan's record breaker. Yeah. So he is sitting on 22. So another sack gets it done next week. Hope to see it happen, but put a smile on Myles Garrett's face because, he was asked in detail about, he didn't care about awards and MVP, DPOI, MVPs, the Hall of Fame, all that. He just wants to win, and you guys are 3-12. So how's that going? And he was like, next
question.
Not quite the who's next of a Bill Goldberg in the late 90s, just a subtle next.
You just see his face. He's like, because the question goes for a long time, and he goes, next.
So that is my sneaky snake takeaway. Let's not oversimplify this.
What do we do? Like 1 year? 1 year it's a quarterback, and 1 year it can't be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
On off.
1 year on. On off.
Yeah.
So this year it has to be a different player. Anyone other than a quarterback.
Look, I love Stafford. Josh Allen's been fantastic. We have some other names to get thrown. Drake May, huge fans of him, being fans of him since back at UNC. So I love the players themselves. But if we don't have someone knocking down the door saying this is my award, and we have someone breaking the NFL sack record, then if not Myles Garrett. And the other part of this is I ran through the schedule, and look, the Browns have had out of 15 active weeks so far. There's two more games for them to go. At 15, they've had 9 either wins or 1 score losses.
Yeah.
That roster shouldn't have had that many competitive showings.
No.
Myles Garrett is a huge reason why they have been that competitive in more than half their games. And for me, there's value right there.
I think you can argue is one of the greatest number 1 picks of all time.
He's unbelievable. He is, and number 1 picks carry so. Think about you think about particular defensive players. We can say number 1 picks or top 2 picks, top 3 picks. Think of the generational ones that come out, and you think of like a Jadeveon Clowney, who's been awesome, but never hit the take over the world.
Has he had 10 sacks in a season before?
I think perhaps once, maybe. Once.
But we thought coming in he would be a generational talent.
He stole the internet in one single play in that Michigan game.
But again, he hasn't been what Myles Garrett is.
Which Myles Garrett has been career high for Jadeveon Clowney, 9.5.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, good for me.
And very, very sharp. And aged well because he did that just a couple of years ago with the Baltimore Ravens. But everything that Myles Garrett has been, I'm fine with, a history-making season where he changes things. They didn't give it to people like Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
They didn't give it to people like J.J. Watt when they were valued as a red zone tight end for the Texans whilst challenging for the lead sack leader in the NFL. Let's give it to Myles Garrett. So that's my sneaky snake takeaway of the week.
Love that.
All right.
For it.
Jimmy.
There's been a lot of chat. I'm gonna share to Boxy, who put this in our NFL Afters chat from behind the scenes. We love Boxy. And he wanted to know our thoughts on some fights that happened over the weekend.
Well, big fight guys, you and me.
Yeah.
How many fights have you been in? No, we're not going to answer that question.
I grew up in Indy, mate, so there's a few there.
Yes.
So look, there's 3 fights we're going to talk about. The first one we've already talked about, the Commanders versus Tyler Steen. There's like a still I've watched where it's like him, and I can just see one Eagles player and all these. They're just all Commanders. I can't see any other Eagles. I'm like, what is everyone doing? Then we've got AJ and Paul, who broke his jaw in 2 places.
Yep.
Some people saying deserved. I don't know who's saying that.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And then we have DK Metcalf and the guy with the blue hair.
Yeah.
Which again, I've seen different angles. Do you want to talk on that before we? Because I'm going to do start one, bench one, cut one. So I think you probably want to cut the DK and the blue hair.
Yeah, because quite frankly, I hate it because I don't think the Steelers win that game if DK is not on the field.
Yep.
He didn't have a huge productive day, but he's out there. He had a big first down conversion in the second half after this occurred. He was out there blocking on some key plays. Obviously, what he does to a defense in terms of being a gravitational force that a defense has to look at and scheme against, allowing opportunities for others. But I don't think the Steelers win if he's still out in the field, and he shouldn't have been out in the field. I don't know what the fan said. I don't want to get into what provokes necessary, response, but generally it's a blanket rule. If a player goes and puts hands on a fan, you should be out of the game.
Yeah,
that's why that one is cut for me.
I think it's Look, I think, I've been at sports games, you have as well, and heard horrendous,
awful stuff.
Things. Awful things, right?
Yeah.
That should never be said to another human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what this guy said, but again, I've heard things in the past at different sporting games, and I'm like, that shouldn't be said to someone.
No.
But again, then you should, in any point in life, whether it's not a game, whether it's at a pub, wherever you go, don't put hands on someone.
No.
Physical violence is never the answer. So again, and there should be, I was surprised. My brain instantly went, oh, he's gone. He's tossed.
So apparently because a flag wasn't thrown initially, New York can't then come in and say eject him. If there was a penalty and then they looked and said, hey guys, this isn't just personal, this is ejection.
Yeah.
Then they can do it. But I think that was the reasoning why he wasn't thrown out of the game. Because you saw the replays, right? And you're like, well, if they've got the replays on TV.
And we're all saying, and everyone's saying
the official should be because a flag wasn't initially thrown because it was missed. That's why he couldn't get chucked. But man, he should have been out of that game. So that's the one I'm cutting.
Yeah.
I'm going to bench AJ and Jake Paul. Because whilst comic deliverance may have arrived with the shattered jaw and the frame by frame slow mo of that area. Insane. Yeah. Well, when his face is in one post,
you know what I mean? They're doing it.
Well, his face.
There you go. Done the Jake Paul.
His face is in Alexandria and his jaw's in Zetland. Like
Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah. Cop that Melbourne office.
Yeah. Matty goes, oh, Laurie, if you could just put that on a map for me. I don't know where those are.
That's why Krugs has moved back to Sydney for that type of. He misses it. He misses Zetland takes.
Producer Krugs.
He's back above the border. He's above the Murray Darling.
I need to see him. I haven't
seen
him
today.
I haven't seen him since like week 3.
It's a figment of your imagination.
Feels like a very Fight Club situation.
Well, judging by the cold and flu meds that I think the poor man's putting through the body right now, I think he's probably feeling that kind of way as well.
And so you're
starting Commanders and Tyler Steen. Would you like to know why?
Yeah, tell me.
I think I know where this came from.
Okay.
I think I know who to blame, particularly for Tyler Steen's active involvement in this.
Yeah.
It's Jordan Mailata.
Okay.
He's at fault. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know what I saw when I saw that fight?
What?
When it was Tyler Steen versus about throwing hands and about 6 commanders around him. That looked very, very Brendan Cannon, smacking Kevin Mialamu with every bit of his fist. And then Carlos Spencer, Justin Mark, like the whole All Blacks getting in there and digging. I think Jordan Mailata's been sitting there like, lads sharing, sports videos in their YouTube.
He's talking about his inspiration.
Yeah, talking about it's in the group chat, and he showed Steen this. Mate, have a look at this. This is what I grew up with. And I don't know if it's...
And Steen is close to Steeden,
which is...
And rugby league players love to biff, even though you're using rugby union example.
Yeah, I think you just annoyed some very, 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 very passionate chapters of the Mossman suburbs.
Jeez, Sydney suburbs are getting a real shout out here. We're only 17 minutes in.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast.
Starting Commanders.
Yes, I'm starting that, and I think Mailata definitely influencing there by showing old All Blacks Wallabies fights.
Highlights.
Yeah.
I like it.
God, I love that shot from Brendan Cannon.
You've got the 9 award this week.
Yeah, didn't have to reach far for this.
Yep.
Yeah. Jimmy, what do you know what the square root of 9 is?
No.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
3 times 3 equals 9.
1, 2, 3.
And 3 is the yardage total.
33 yards.
The Jackson Dart gave us this week. 1 interception, 7 completions out of 13 total passes. Didn't reach double digits in rushing yardage. And the big thing, if you looked up, and I did this real time, Jackson Dart during that game, just throw it into Google. The top result was, is Jackson Dart hurt? Why his numbers? So it was an article on a publisher I won't give free clicks to. But it was awful. That team was actively game planning away from him. There was the Tyron Tracy show early. Some desperate fantasy hopes may have lay on that, but it was. He gets the 9 award this week, and beyond that, if I'm an NFC East team or fan, don't know if you can speak to that. In no way am I concerned that going into 2026. Oh, geez, you know what? The Giants have finally solved the post Eli quarterback
I just think the whole thing's a mess. Like I actually try to get some stats of him since Brian Daboll's gone, right? Yeah. So he's firing. So 63 less passing yards per game, 15 less rushing yards per game, 1.4 less touchdowns per game. He had 3 interceptions in 7 games with Daboll. He has 2 interceptions and several more dropped in 3 he started since.
Yeah,
I think I don't know if he's the answer. I saw people online saying Fernando. Why can't I say this?
Fernando Mendoza. Fernando
Mendoza, who'll be playing my Alabama coming up, which will be very exciting. Roll Tide. But
what are your thoughts on the movie Sweet Home Alabama starring Reese Witherspoon?
Look, I think it's a good film.
I enjoy it.
I think that song "When I Lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama" gets played way too much, and people in Alabama when it comes on lose their mind. I think it's played not a bad song, not a bad movie, just gets played too much there.
I like Reese.
Yeah.
You know
No, I won't do that joke.
Okay.
With a spoon. They could have the number one. They could have the number 1 pick as well. So maybe they are in the lookout for a new quarterback.
But a deserving 9 award winner, Jackson Dart. Take it away.
Hey, look, before we move to hot mics, I'm going to give you another joke. A Christmas edition.
Oh boy,
if that's all right.
Poor producer Sophie's first episode. She's got the
and she's getting some great comedy. Sophie's loving it. Sophie, aren't you loving this? Yay! All right, another one. Why did the Christmas lights go to school, Laurie?
Tell me, Jimmy.
Because they wanted to be a little brighter.
All
right, let's move to hot mics. I'd
love to pass that lesson on to other people in this room right now.
Thanks to our friends at McDonald's.
Oh, the Macca's hot mic. The best.
Now, look, I'll kick things off because we got one which isn't a hot mic. It is just a DM. It's from someone who's reached out before. It's Dom, a.k.a. the Tree of Wisdom from the Wiggles. Apparently, they're busy this time of year, getting ready for the carols and all that sort of stuff.
Domain?
Yeah, Domain.
Big call up.
So he was practicing. He couldn't do a voice note, so he texted me and he said, Jimmy, Liam Cohen for Coach of the Year. Just threw it out there.
Yeah.
Loz, thoughts?
Massive shout.
Yeah.
Especially with, obviously, Stark Daddy was in a huge position for that.
Yep.
I think Sean Payton will get some love looking in at that. I think we look at a bunch of different coaches. Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers now clinching. Kyle Shanahan never gets a lot of look in for this award. But with the 49ers now clinching a playoff spot, despite everything they've overcome, he'll get some deserved praise. I suppose if the Panthers take away that blistering NFC South divisional race, that Canales could get a look in as well. But no, I think, he's got this Jaguars team, and it's the small market town talk. That was the talk going in. That's the talk. They love it. They're holding on to this. This is going to be their bulletin board material. But, we said that the line that Trevor Lawrence put up last week was at 5 touchdowns passing, so many passing yards.
No one done it before.
No one done it before, but it came with an asterisk because it was the Jets. Well, this wasn't the Jets. This man personally,
Broncos haven't lost at home.
This man personally sunk fantasy lineups that are very, very close to me against that Denver Broncos team at home. He did some big moments with his legs, but he was fantastic. His decision making when it broke down as well, which is something the commentary box pointed out watching that game, and they were saying, look, these are these moments where when the chaos would occur, because he's so athletic and so gifted, that he'd kind of go a little wild and make some really poor decisions and turn the ball over. And rather in this time when we saw it was subtle movements here, subtle movements there, just creating the windows that he needed to let his talent do the talking rather than kind of letting it all run free. And then look, for anyone that's watched Trevor Lawrence during his time in the NFL and through head coaches and different offenses, and there's been a lot of tumult there, but short yardage and red zone has been nauseating to watch that franchise. They were 4 from 5 in the red zone today. And against that defense, I mean, it deserves massive, massive props. So, to open it up, Liam Cohen for Coach of the Year, I'd be surprised if he's anything but the favorite right now.
Yeah, I still think Ben Johnson. I mean, I don't want to take away from Matty and him talking about his beers, but I just think we had high expectations of the Bears this year, and they made some great additions to that offensive line, which it was awful the year before. But I think between the two of them, I mean, I don't think anyone had the Jaguares where they are sitting at 11-4 and beating the Denver Broncos at home.
No,
big win.
But this hot mic also it sparked a little flow on thought for me.
Yeah,
I think I'm concerned. Old man takes yelling at clouds, tinfoil. But
Laurie doesn't like ChatGPT AI, hates it when I put his photo through it.
The robots.
The ribbons got me looks.
Trying to figure out what accent that was. I think Maddie's coming up. I'm concerned that the kids these days, they don't have the great YouTube big hits collations that we grew up with.
Here comes the boom.
And the two different types of Here Comes the Boom. There's the hip hop track, and then there was the POD new Christian metal version as well. You could tell where you grew up, which one was more prominent. But that the particular cut-ups that we grew up with, it's obviously not as common and du jour these days. And we know player safety, and that's a fantastic thing. Concussion awareness, all these kind of things. However, there is a little bit of me that when I see the hit that, and I'm happy that you avoided serious injury, but Pat Bryant took in that Jaguars game, just a huge clattering hit late in that game. It was 30-odd seconds to go. It made me wonder, like, could we get into a waiver system where once a player is okay and happy, they sign off and say, yeah, this hit's okay to be used in a YouTube collation, and we bring modern YouTube big hits collations back. We bring those tracks, the Here Come the Boom 1 or 2 back. And I would like to see, I wonder if we can get into a space where, yes, we treat the big hits in the moment with the care that they need. But after all is said and done, we get a little tick off and we can guilt-free enjoy some big hit collations and highlight reels once more.
I mean, you love when I make a rugby league comparison here in the NFL podcast. But
and so do the people.
Yeah. And what rugby league player do you think? No.
Well, would Steve Maddai have been an outside linebacker or an inside linebacker? More at 6.
Wasn't there a thing when Joseph Sully hit Reece Walsh and knocked him out illegally? Got sent off, but then they asked Reece if they could use it in promotional video for State of Origin. And he said yes, and then so it became all this stuff. So maybe using
once again, rugby league culture
leading the way
in the world for all enlightened thinking.
You get Peter V'landys and Roger Goodell in a room together,
if Peter V'landys,
and we make them wrestle.
Peter V'landys played quarterback. What type of quarterback?
He'd be one of those leatherheads.
All right,
seen that movie?
That's a Clooney special. Isn't it?
It is.
Yes, not one of the great football movies of all time.
No, it's not a great. It's not one of the go-tos.
Let me just quickly check if that's on Disney Plus.
Have you got the next one from Michael from Brisbane?
I do. I'm definitely not Googling Leatherheads right now. The next one from Michael in Brisbane, I do have, as I scroll through. And
it's to do with the Steelers.
It certainly is.
How good is Aaron Rodgers and those Pittsburgh Steelers? How are they looking coming into January, fellas, with the dramatic win over Detroit? Do they have any credibility in the AFC?
Well, if they're packing the offensive pass interference rule with them, they got some credibility. Yes, the inconvenient truth that is the Green Bay.
Packers. Yeah, no, it's right. I thought the same.
Pittsburgh Steelers
He's been there.
coursing towards the playoffs. Look, this is a Jalen Warren game. I mean, it was simply superb.
Yeah.
The efficiency, the explosion that he showed. I think that we can't get away from this. It was a belter of a game and a great finish. We can't get away from it without talking about the dual OPI calls against the Lions late on.
It was a touchdown.
Yeah.
But what the hell was that?
Mum, we want Macca's for dinner. We want Macca's for dinner. We want Macca's for dinner. Okay, we can have burgers for dinner, but they're homemade.
Yeah.
So I think, look, I think the tough side of it is, I think that was offensive pass interference on the last play.
Yeah.
As much as I love the offload, I don't. We love as rugby and rugby league loving country. We love an offload on the NFL. When Josh Allen and Amari Cooper hooked up with one a couple of years ago, that was phenomenal as well. I do think it was offensive pass interference. Yeah. The problem was a few downs earlier, there was another touchdown that's called OPI for a pick play, and I've seen far less egregious ones get let run free. There was actually a somewhat of a route-esque movement made by the receiver. So I think the Lions got jobbed on that one, and their part of the playoffs looks uphill. No, I'm not. Maybe I will rue this when we're standing there on opening night in San Francisco. And I'm, hi, Aaron. Hi, DK. It's great to see you, TJ. Definitely the best what. But no, I do not think this team is built to cause that kind of chaos and go on that type of run in the playoffs. It's, they had the ground game going fantastically today. Aaron Rodgers had a more productive last couple of weeks, but I'm not bucking from my stance, and I'm not fearing that we're about to see a steel curtain takeover in the postseason.
No, I think the next highlight we're about to see from them is next week when Myles Garrett sacks him for the record, and then that will be played for the rest of time.
Yeah, Michael, looking forward to your call in then.
Yeah, well, we're
champ.
Off. So
yeah, I'm just going to play it at the family dinner. Hey guys, I don't have a show today, but we laugh at this.
Next up, I love this one. This is from Dan Muggleton, who I actually watched. We can talk about it later, but I watched the Rams Seahawks game with him.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
very nice.
And we were educating other people about the great game of NFL.
Oh, you were
as they had no interest in learning about it because the Ashes was on next to the same screen. We're at the Coogee Bay Hotel, and they were just English.
I was going to say. Just English. Any Irish folks there? Could you be?
It all sort of morphs into the same sort of accent. I think Maddie from Melbourne.
Maddie. Oh, I'm looking forward to Maddie. Yes. Dan Muggleton with this thought coming out of the weekend's action.
It's been an absolutely bizarre slate of football this week, maybe one of the most memorable ever. But in equally surprising news, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Jake Paul actually fought someone his own age this week, getting touched up by Anthony Joshua. And I was just wondering what you thought of like former or current NFL players. Who is the most likely to fight Jake Paul in a boxing match in the future? I think there are some obvious contenders. I think maybe a Gronk would give it a bash. I think maybe an Antonio Brown. That seems like a fair call. But yeah, I was just wondering if you guys had any ideas who might step into the ring for a bit of that Netflix boxing cash.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a name off the top.
Okay.
Do you have...
Well, I've got four, but I will say the first one was Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, sure.
So I did agree on that. He's physically huge.
Yeah.
Retired. He loves these side quests.
He does.
He's got a connection to Tom Brady, so like that would draw him into the argument and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
I don't know about his form punching though. He's such a boxy individual.
Yeah.
That I don't know about the flow and the footwork in the ring.
Stuff. That was, but I have another three. But I'll let you go first.
Look, the first one that came off the bat, someone who's got ties to the combat world, who's quite close to Sean Strickland, Max Crosby for me. Okay. Max Crosby feels like the type of guy that had listened to one of the Pauls speak for about 3 seconds and sign the contract on the bottom line. And someone honking in agreement from outside the studio.
Yeah, Max Crosby.
Yeah, let's get him in the ring. Max Crosby jumps out to me. Max Crosby also today had a chase down of Nick Chubb, where Nick Chubb got free with some classic Nick Chubb hard running. But what used to come after Nick Chubb battled through the line of scrimmage, found a crease, was breakaway speed. The 31 yards did not. It looked more like he was going in reverse than breakaway speed. And
Phillip Rivers speed.
Max Crosby hunted him down cricket. But yeah, my pick off the top. Give me Max Crosby. 2 X's, 1 knockout.
All right. I've got 3 for you.
Okay.
You actually mentioned this bloke earlier.
Oh, did I?
It's Jordan Mailata.
Oh.
You said he was inspiring the Biff that happened earlier. Why not get involved with the Biff? Grew up around it, rugby league, as you said, huge rugby union fan as well.
Yeah.
I said there's the Australian audience.
Yep.
So again, you could take the fight here. You could do it at Sydney Opera House. It could be very iconic because I know Jake Paul loves growing his audience and the amount of people that watch.
Sure.
And then maybe Georgie Rose could get involved. He's the CEO of No Limit Boxing. Maybe he becomes a promoter. Just writes itself.
Sure.
Just writes itself.
I'm getting really concerned with the rugby league infiltration.
I know this too. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll go the other way. Back to the NFL.
Yeah.
Chad Ochocinco.
Oh, God.
Elite trash talk.
Yeah.
Might be better than Jake's. Maybe.
Sure.
He might ask for a tag team. We could get Jake and Logan versus Shannon Sharp and Chad. Think of all the mics and the interviews and the podcast. And then finally, this is one I'd love to see. Look, I'll give you the reasons.
Yeah.
This bloke, blue collar, right? He's a man of the people.
Okay, because you had me with the first one and then you lost me with the second one.
Maybe I'll get you back again.
Yeah.
Incredibly popular, blue collar bloke. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves this guy. Everyone hates Jake Paul. So everyone loves, everyone sort of hates. The people's champ.
Yeah.
It involves Philadelphia and Philly fans. What else do I need to say? Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to see Jason Kelce
Yeah.
just laying into Jake Paul?
Yeah. Is Travis in the walkout or not?
Yeah, he'll be there. Maybe it's a Taylor song that he walks out to, Love Story. I got to laugh.
Do we think is Jason fighting in boxing shorts or is he out there in like mama's outfit, slash
Yeah.
Speedos.
yeah. Speedos. Maybe the mum's outfit.
Up top,
party
down
down
the
the
bottom. Yep.
I just tell me you wouldn't love to see
Yeah,
that.
I mean, look, talk about approval ratings contrasting.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're complete. So
it writes itself.
Make it happen. I
Yeah.
don't know who I need to speak to, but Jason Kelsey.
All right, I love it.
Jake Paul.
I love it. All right, Jason Kelsey. I mean, what else is he doing other than conquering the media world, the podcast world, and everything?
Doing everything.
Else? Singing.
He's got time. Yeah.
Clearly. All right.
Saving the best for last.
Saving the best for last. As I scroll and scroll, and it's a happy scroll. We do a lot of doom scrolling.
Yeah, looking for your favorite.
There's nothing doom and gloom about this.
Oh, yes. Hello, boys. It's me again. Up the Bears. How good. Look at that cardiac Caleb doing his thing. Sorry to make you keep talking about the Bears
Never apologize.
every week. I just love them. Love seeing them win. But I hope sitting here kicking back, watching the Lions right now, hopefully they poo the bed a little bit and then they can clinch that spot. But talking about my boy, Cardiac Caleb, where's he sitting in the MVP race? Surely he's up there. He's doing some bits for the Bears this year, so let me know. Also, Loz getting a lot of rain down here in Melbourne. Grass is bouncing back, brother. Appreciate your advice last week.
The blind leading the blind on their lawns. Maddie, just a delight to hear from you again. Happy to hear it's raining. It's absolutely pummeling down in Newcastle right now. So as my son is running around saying free rain for the lawn, the sentiment is shared across the Murray-Darling border. But Caleb as MVP.
Well, unfortunately, you can't because you've just given it away.
Well, I've given it to Miles Garrett.
If Miles Garrett in a vacuum, if Miles Garrett didn't exist.
No, I don't think Caleb's getting it this year. I think kind of statistically there's an inconsistent start there. People love globbing onto single stats like, his completion percentage is this and this. But I can tell you that Caleb Williams' market for MVP 2026 is going to be hot.
Okay.
Yeah, the same way that we came into this season, and then the kind of trendy Baker Mayfield pick was really, really hot and stuff like that. Caleb, but the level that Caleb. That the ceiling for his throws, his single play ceiling for what he can deliver. We said it last week. He said it. There's not a throw I can't make. It's not ill-advised when you can do what I can do. And you know what? He's proving that because that throw, the game-winning throw to DJ Moore, is going to be one of, if not the throws of the year. The huevos rancheros that you have to show to pull that off is absolutely unbelievable. With this toughness, his escapability has gotten a lot of deserved plaudits of what he can do. We talk about players having superpowers or having break glass in case of emergencies. You first think about his kind of general pocket movement and his creativity and his arm talent, but his running ability is really valuable in those spots as well. So I don't think it'll happen this year. I think people are circling around the three of Stafford, May, Allen, and we'll see how the next 2 weeks kind of play out. But yeah, he's been
showing enough that he can compete for an MVP at some point.
Absolutely, which is we came into this season wondering, more people were of the belief that he was broken and not worth it than he was a future franchise guy. And I think if you went around and asked what's the approval rating on him as a future franchise guy for the Bears right now, be above 80%, I would guess. Yeah. I mean, they're
loving it.
We talked about last week, Caleb and Bo Nix had made a statement. Well, only one of them turned up to back it up this week in a chase for a number one seed. And that was a ridiculously encouraging performance in a tight spot with the game script not going your way. Yes, you get help from special teams and all that, but for Williams to seize that moment the way he did.
I think one of the biggest comments you can give, like you mentioned, three of the people in the MVP race, one of them being Drake May. Drake went third in the draft, Jaden Daniels second, and Caleb. But I think if you ask most Bears fans, they're not going to trade Caleb for, like, if there was a straight up swap on offer, they're like, we're going to keep Caleb. We don't want him for Drake. I think there's some question marks around that Jaden Daniels pick at 2 now, considering how the way
the health
both of those two are. Yes, sorry, the health.
Yeah.
But again, that's a fair question.
It is.
Like, he has been injured and different injuries as well. Yeah.
And he didn't have kind of the run up to being that bolter to the top of the draft, like that consistent build. Like
there was conversation about him being MVP at the start of the season.
Well, yeah, he was one of those trendy picks, right?
Yeah.
But no, look, I think for Caleb Williams, we've spent a whole lot of time this summer in this part of the world hearing the word talent thrown around. Perhaps not in this sport, perhaps in another sport.
Cricket. England don't have any.
Yeah. Talent. Well, there's talent, and then there's your talent actually stepping up, being put on show, and being applied acutely and piercingly through the air in the biggest, toughest of spots. And Green Bay felt that, and the rest of the NFC felt that.
And look, shout out to Jordan Love for recreating that Aaron Rodgers photo on the ground with the helmet sort of above him.
He was my starting fantasy quarterback, and the reason that I have bowed out this season. Thank you for bringing that up. And look, that's a DM from the group chat right now. That can only be positive. That has been a roller coaster edition of the Macca's Hot Mic, brought to you by our dear friends at McDonald's, but also brought to you by the loving, amazing listeners and the audience and the NFL Afters family.
Just before we get to quick hits, a couple more Santa jokes for you.
Oh, okay.
So people are loving them. Yep. I'm getting requests. My phone's just blowing up.
Oh, God.
Where do you find a Christmas tree?
In
between Christmas 2 and Christmas 4.
I'm going to play that one back for Lee. She's a speech pathologist. She's going to love that one.
Yeah, that's it for Lee. There you go. I did bits for your son the other day.
Yep.
6, 7.
Oh, yeah, no, he heard it. That's all we hear now. Now he just says random numbers. He'll just say like, Dad, 3-1. I'm like, okay. I'm glad you can recognize numerals.
All right, quick hits.
Patriots, Ravens. We just talked about it. Look, Drake May had his moments, but again, they scraped past Snoop Huntley. Something about that doesn't.
You talked about start of the podcast was people not wanting it. Lamar was like, "Nope, I'm out.
Nope, I'm out. I'm good." Is he going for another?
That Homer Simpson, Abe Simpson meme when he comes in, puts his hat on the rack, and then sees Bart and walks back out.
Lamar, from a old man perspective again, the knee to the back doesn't seem fun. Don't think there's a round of golf this weekend for Lamar. But I think on top of that, as displeasing as so much that game was, sloppy ball hitting the deck from different key members. King Henry put it on his back for the Ravens for a long time. But Drake May, I mean, that pass to Kyle Williams down the right sideline, and there's dropping it in the bucket. There's dropping it in the bucket, and that thing was as perfect a spiral as you will see out there. Fantastic control near the sideline from the rookie receiver. But look, it's not one that's going to go the whole performance on the MVP resume for Drake May. But it's a win. It's a win when it could have been otherwise. But
we said like they're going to win out, didn't we? But I mean, this was the only game where you thought maybe because last week they were playing semi-competitive football.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, it was they got the win.
They got the win, and
it's kind of a cruise ride home, isn't it? They got Miami and someone else.
The rest of the way for the New England Patriots. This was kind of the game because we're talking about them getting tested. I mean, I don't know. You tell me how the AFC East. It's a road trip to the Jets where I don't know how many Jets fans are turning up, and then they welcome. I could make up it. They welcome Danny Walters at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Real name or fake name?
Real name.
No, I made it up just now.
Kevin Walters.
He's actually Kerrid's son.
The other one.
Adelaide Rams.
Get him so
Stop rugby league infiltrating this podcast.
I didn't mean to. Shout out to what's sort of say as well. Caleb Williams doing the Cole Palmer celebration. He's done a couple of weeks now.
All right. That football we will allow.
Yeah, they're like, I saw someone tweet though and be like, he's come up with this cool celebration. I was like, credit where credit. Yeah. And he did. Caleb did shout him out.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm currently dealing with a 6-year-old running around doing the Sue celebration. Yeah. Well, I'm educating him that that's not even the best Ronaldo. Moving on.
It's a Brazilian one.
Yes, thank you. R9. Right. It was a little bit ago. We have talked about it a little bit. So
great game, though. And we told people to go and watch this.
This is the market game. This is a showcase game. Go and watch this.
Can I say, I went to the Coogee Bay and I was joking about it before. I went with Dan Muggleton, fan of the show. And we were watching it and people started watching it. Like there was a cricket on, and obviously the cricket was very non-competitive. But people started watching this game, and I could see people around us going, "Oh wow, look at this!" It was a great advertisement for the great game that is NFL.
It was phenomenal for the neutrals, phenomenal for the casuals. I did a radio hit, and I said it was at the Melbourne station. I said, "Look, I know you guys are just getting your heads around State of Origin, but that type of level of contact and physicality that literally screams through the screen, and the rivalry and the closeness which these two teams as a division rivals have." That is what was going to be on showcase for this. And that was something that could really put on display for casual fans that are just finding the game. Geez, there's a bit to this. And I mean, look, the story from this is Sam's redemption. Matt Stafford put up MVP numbers. That's fine. But Sam having turned the ball over.
How many yards Stafford have? So,
400 and it was ridiculous. His completion rate was super clean, but it was literally like 407.
I was like, and this man lost. He had 457.
Damn close. I got too excited. Damn it. But for Sam Darnold, the opportunity was there in the second half, right? The turnovers had happened.
Yeah.
It hadn't been clean. You're against an MVP front runner. You're against the guy who's kind of been, in many ways, the opposite to you.
Yeah.
Well, you have both have had multiple stops. This guy overcame injuries. His adversity was more injuries early in his career and losing records. Went to another place, became a Super Bowl champion, is on track for the Hall of Fame, Matt Stafford might retire as a top 5 passing yardage guy. Sam Darnold has had multiple stops, adversity in his early season, but hasn't really taken. He's gotten better, but hasn't exercised all those demons or ghosts.
Yeah.
Certainly in the pointy end of the season of the playoffs.
Like I said earlier, it was the Jets' helmets.
So really, he was Sam Darnold in many ways. It was kind of like he was playing the best possible version of his future.
I think
that's what he was up against, and he delivered.
I thought we were really high on the Rams, right?
Yes.
And maybe a lot of people still are.
Yeah.
But I did crunch some numbers really quickly for you. So let's assume Seahawks win out there, NFC West, first seed in the conference.
Yes.
Carolina Panthers, they got the win over Buccaneers.
Yep.
So they're now favourites to win the NFC South.
Yep.
Chicago Bears, NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves them with 3 probable paths into the postseason at Philadelphia Eagles, at the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Both very hard games.
Yep.
And also at Carolina Panthers, which I don't think
You're talking about the Rams here?
Yeah.
I'd have them favored in all of those.
Really?
Yep. I still believe.
You're a believer.
But yeah,
right,
this is the story coming.
I'm a believer. Yeah.
That I don't know that any quarterback is going to take more out of a single game for the rest of their career than Sam Darnold took out of that.
Yeah.
For those winning plays coming off his right hand, with Puka delivering how he did and JSN being slower to get going in that game, for what he was seeing from a real number 9 on the other sideline to deliver in that spot.
The confidence that you take out of that game.
Confidence for your coach to put in you as well.
Yeah.
Go for 2, mate. Go take this thing.
Yeah.
It was everything we wanted from that contest, and it just makes for even more fun in the postseason.
And just quickly, one last thing on it, because again, I wasn't watching with you, but we were texting in the group chat. Yes. Some great Lostradamus. Talk everyone through. You spoke it because I thought the game was over and the Rams were going to win.
Yeah.
And it was because what was the score? It was like 21.
It was a couple score lead. Yeah, multiple scores. Yeah. And I believe I said that Seahawks really need a return touchdown. Be nice here.
Yeah.
And within minutes.
Yeah.
Rashid down the sideline.
And I'm like watching going, no. Oh, yes.
Jimmy's like, was I buffering? Did I pause?
I was like, Laurie ahead of me. I went to the pub and I'm like, guys, is this live?
And that's why you need to watch it on Disney Plus, guys. You get that crystal clear stream. Bang on the money. Timing's beautiful. No latency.
Look, I got 3 games here. I'll punch through them. First one, Raiders 21, Texans 23.
Sure.
I thought it was a great game for Ashton Genty. I think they saw potentially the guy they thought they could draft or that they would draft and see throughout the season.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons probably didn't get him. 24 carries, 128 yards, touchdown, and a 60-yard receiving touchdown as well. But again, they did lose a game, and right now it's between them and the Giants for the first pick of the draft. I think they need it more. They need it more. And they need the quarterback. They need Fernando Meadows cheese.
Fernando Mendoza. By the end of it, it's going to be like organic Manchego or something.
God. Real or fake?
Quarterback.
Bengals 45, Dolphins 21. Joe Barry threw for 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. Still didn't look excited as he walked off the field. I don't know if you saw him through the tunnel and stuff.
No.
Said something like, not playing football is not fun.
Yeah.
Double negative there from our boy?
Correct.
He could have just said playing football is fun.
Nah, it's because people want him to be sat for the rest of the year, and he can't stand sitting on the sideline. No, look, I think we get a really interesting FU Joe Burrow mode for the he goes in FU mode for the last couple of games. If he put up video game numbers, like if he went for 450 back-to-back week games over the next couple of weeks, just to feel something again, essentially.
As Robbie Williams said, I just want to feel. Buccaneers 20, Panthers 23. The Buccaneers now 7-8. I mean, the Buccaneers were 5-1, I believe, at one stage. Now they're 7-8. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Your Panthers. I mean, shout out to Short King stand up. 5'10" on a good day. Bryce Young. Also allegedly 93 kilos.
No, he's no way.
Because also Tederawa McMillan had a great game today, right?
Yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
conversation.
Yep. Reeling in 6 catches, 10 targets, 73 yards.
Yep.
Great touchdown as well. That beautiful 22-yard reception. I did some Googling. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
Right. And he's 99 kilos.
Yep.
So, and I saw them standing next to each other, and I'm like, the math ain't mathing there.
It's not a 6-pack of Woodies between those two.
I was like, I went on their website too, and I'm like, hang on a sec. This is
the height weights in the NFL even worse at college, but there's a lot of mayo on those.
Yeah.
There's weigh you on the day that they want to, and then it sits there for a 15-year NFL career. But look, disappointing for the Buccaneers. It looked good early when we got the Mike Evans touchdown, which makes people feel something again. But look, I know they've had injuries at different points of the season, but to be able to roll out names like Amika Ibuka, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin Jr., Jalen McMillan, and have no one go past 40 yards receiving on the day says things aren't quite working. And the game-sealing interception by the Panthers on it, just a straight-up-and-down miscommunication. Yeah. Mike Evans is one of the most quarterback-friendly wide receivers that I think in his generation comfortably, but that I've seen in the modern game. I mean, chuck it up in the vicinity and he'll go make you famous. But, I mean, the indicator was going right and he turned left or something went completely wrong there. But it's just been this frustrating run. And it's interesting. The rest of the way for the NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, have a cupcake matchup next up as much as they can. It's the Dolphins. Yeah. So it's not exactly a Florida showdown.
Steve Walters? What is this? Garrett, sorry.
Really? Yeah. And then they play the Panthers again in the final week. So the Buccaneers have a really good chance to get to 8-8 next week. And then the Panthers, on the other hand, they get a lovely visit from the Seahawks next week. So there's a real good chance that we've got 2 8-8 teams and we do this thing all again in 2 weeks' time. Right. As we power through the rest.
Team.
Chargers, Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Chargers scored twice as many points as the Cowboys. Cowboys, the defense is awful. Jerry Jones knows it. Maybe 9 months too late.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is known for dragging things out, dragged out the Mike McCarthy thing, dragged out the Michael Parsons thing, dragged out the Dak Prescott renewal, dragged out the CD Lamb, drags out everything, loves the headlines. But this might be a decision that even he isn't dragging out because he was already talking about, I'm not going to make any changes in the season. Things on defense need to change.
Yeah.
You'd think with all the resources, data, and assets I have available at me that I can go get the best coaches. I believe I can go get the best coaches. Some of them aren't available, but I have no doubt that we can get the best coaches. He has a defensive, just so you know, his defensive coordinator is still employed, and he's saying that. But I think Eberflus will be out. Not a fit, not the time, and whatever promise Eberflus had as a defensive coordinator some time ago, it doesn't feel like he's got a finger on the offensive pulse of the NFL right now. And for the love of God, the Chargers, I don't care whether it's Doogie Howser. I don't care whether it's Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. I don't care if it's Doctor Who, Dr. Doolittle. I do not care. Go and get some sort of medical help to keep your team healthy, keep the offensive line out there, and keep Justin Herbert upright for 2026, because when he is, this is what it looks like. An absolute takeover. Like, he's just
the same one we saw at the start of the season.
That's him.
The team that in the week 1 beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Exactly. That's who we should be seeing week in. So whatever you have to do, but the Chargers, like, for us not to see this guy in this position to succeed most of the season, year in, year out, is an absolute waste. Not from a Chargers fan.
Yeah.
Not from someone who needs the Chargers to do certain things so that their other team in the AFC gets ahead. Just from a football neutral, keep this guy upright, because
we want every player healthy. Yeah. That's like, it's any injury is awful. I mean, Judkins today, that leg, it's just, nasty. I hate seeing all that. I'd rather every player healthy, have a long career, because that's when you get the best quality football. Speaking of injuries, our boy, Trevon Diggs, Roll Tide and Cowboy, he was trying to be a handyman. He got knocked out by a TV.
Yeah, there's a lot of really...
Have you seen any...
Yeah, there was a lot of...
update for me?
Look, there was a lot of really, really, really nasty rumors out there on the internet about what happened and how he got concussed and at home, and I'm not going to go into any of them. I'm not going to give the time of day or any sort of light. But yeah, Jane Slater, who's been on this, very good Cowboys insider with the NFL Network, she kind of released some of with his permission, I think he sent some of the footage of the installation of a TV gone wrong and led to a concussion. But I think that's troubling, and it's awful that accident happens off the field and it impacts you on the field. But I mean, they spoke to him after the game and said, do you think this was your last home game at AT&T? And he said, yeah, probably. Like, this is going for a divorce. He cannot... The schematic, whether the health is fully there, schematically, he can't get his head around it. Another blown coverage today.
Yeah, there was that.
just wide open. You could see mid-route. He's like, "Oh, you're not there. Oh, goody." So look, I think Trevon Diggs is headed for free agency, and we'll see if he can revive his career. He's not like he's an old cornerback or anything like that, and it clearly. His instincts need a more natural fit. He doesn't have that right now.
Look, we hit the snooze button on some games. So apologies to these fans, but Chiefs 9, Titans 26, Falcons 26, Cardinals 19, Jets 6, Saints 29. You want to say anything about Shuck before we quickly move on to we've got history?
Yeah, the Tyler Shuck, Chris Olave stack in fantasy next year is going to be hot stuff. Hot stuff coming through.
Hot stuff coming through.
That's those two. Love it. Love me some Shuck. Yeah.
Love me a steel mill.
Yeah. But not the Steelers.
Yeah.
Time for We've Got History, brought to you by our friends at StatMate, Jimmy.
Yep.
We're out of quick hits. We're into StatMate. The ledger is 4 asterisks to 6. You got the dub this week. That's in the book. And they say something about chicken and eggs and something bird in hand than eggs in
one hand and a bird is better than two stones in the bushes. I picked Brock Bowers. I think it was 4+. He had 5. And he was targeted 5 times.
It was 5+, and it was 5. And he got 5.
5,
You hit it on the number.
I hit it on the number.
And I've got Jonathan Taylor to rack up some big numbers of Monday Night Football, so we will look ahead to that one. But for this week, with you, you've got what they call a 1.5 point lead.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, look, if this doesn't win, like I'm on 6, you got 4, but you potentially have 2 to come off. So it could be 6 and 6 when we come back from our break.
Yes.
The week off.
Yes.
But I'm going safe here. Got to go real safe to try and keep my lead. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's flat out rolling this season for the Seahawks. He's only missed 80+ receiving yards twice all year. And one of those was a 79-yard effort. And he had
one off,
just one off.
Math.
Come on, man. Averaged 109.1 per game. Still plenty to play for to lock up the top of that NFC because the Rams are still there in the 2 next week. So look for him to just put the foot down, I reckon, and just really distance themselves after, like I said, the confidence Sam Darnold will have after that win and go, we want to be number 1 in the NFC, and we're going to show everyone why.
Yep, up against a Carolina Panthers the Carolina Panthers team that isn't in the same class as that Seahawks outfit. All right, for me, I'm not going towards a contender. I'm going to someone that just wants to have fun by playing football. T. Higgins, last 5 games, he has 6 touchdown passes, 9 on the year. Joe Burrow is out there. I mentioned Joe Burrow. I think we get FU Mo Joe Burrow to close out the season. Big chance to rack up some more this week against a Cardinals team that are deservedly in the snooze button section of this rundown. But I've got T. Higgins, who's back out there looking like a big body goddie, which I love that at wide receiver. In this day and age of slot receivers and nifty receivers, do love a big frame that gets up there and extends.
I love
hands.
a big man.
I love a
Tedero McMillan.
Let me tell you,
big man. I'd love.
Nothing gets me going on a Saturday night like a little Sangiovese and the word wingspan.
I like a little Pinot Noir. I'm watching a bit of T. Higgins.
Pinot White out. All right,
it's time for Jimmy's Blitz.
Let's get it.
We're at 56. I've got 4 minutes. Chance just before we go to the Blitz. How much did Santa pay for his slate? Nothing, Loz. It was on the house.
Oh.
All right, Jimmy's Blitz. Let's get into this. Wherever I put it.
A career best week.
Career best week last week. All right, right now, we did mention this earlier. Right now, there are 2 quarterbacks, Stafford and Prescott, that have over 4,000 passing yards.
Correct.
Let's go back 10 years. Okay. How many quarterbacks in 2015 had 4,000 passing yards? Was it A12, B13, or C14? Some of the names, if this is going to help you.
Manning.
Drew Brees. Rivers. Manning. Ryan. Palmer. Brady. Stafford.
Not Romo. There. He was hurt.
Not Romo.
Give me 13.
It's 12. Just missed out. At 13 was Derek Carr. With 3,987.
That checks out.
So he was just out of there. Mentioned this as well. Just 1 week ago, Patrick Mahomes did his ACL.
Correct.
It looks like Gardner Minshew has done his ACL as well. I tried to do some research on this. Now, they only break it up at certain times because they have independent doctors and stuff look at all these things. But between 2012 and 2022, so a 10-year period, NFL looked at it.
Yeah.
How many ACLs were torn in that time frame?
My God. At MetLife Stadium or just in general?
On fake turf. Was it A, 420 or B, 520? It's a real flip of the coin.
I think it's 420 because you think that number's funny.
But you're going to lock in 520.
No.
It's 520! trying to help you. 0 from 2. Who had more fantasy points this week? Stay with me. Was it Puka Nakua, which you had in fantasy, but it still didn't let you win? You still lost. Was it Puka Nakua or combined Josh Jacobs, Mika Ebegbu, Brandon Aubrey, Drake London, Trey McBride, Josh Allen, and DeAndre Swift? Them combined or Puka Nakua?
I think those combined just pip him.
They do not.
God.
Puka Nakua just got them there. All right.
For 3.
Question 4. Here's one. This is a social breakout clip, Crooks. We are heading into the holiday season. We are taking a week off and we'll be back very soon. But what you can do in the meantime is head to Disney Plus and watch any of these 5 Christmas movies. And Laurie is now going to blind rank them.
Oh, God. Okay.
All available on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Home Alone.
1?
Home Alone is 1.
Oh, no, as in Home Alone 1?
Yeah, Home Alone. What?
Stop
okay.
ranking for... it's great. 2. Home Alone 1
Home Alone
at 2.
Who's on first? All right, so the movie is Home Alone, the first movie.
And
you're
ranking slot
it
number
in
2.
Okay. Home Alone is at 2. Next up, The Grinch. Jim Carrey.
4.
4. Okay. The Grinch. All available on Disney Plus. Number 3, controversial, Die Hard.
1.
I knew I liked you.
Yep.
It's my go-to. I watch it every Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one of my personal favorites. Muppet Christmas Carol.
No.
Don't put it at 5.
I'm not a Muppets guy.
Oh, how do you not love the Muppets?
It's just
Ebenezer Scrooge.
It just doesn't do much for me.
Sorry, Mr. Scrooge.
Well,
Tiny Tim isn't.
I know there is a passionate part of media and sports media that are Muppet acolytes. I'm just not part of it.
You're putting it at 5.
You can go at 5.
Oh, God. I knew I didn't like you. Leaving number 3, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus.
Okay, so I'll put it at 3, but I'm mad at this movie.
Okay, talk to me.
Because Charlie wanted to watch a Christmas movie, so we put it on.
Yeah,
that's fine. And within the first 7 minutes of the movie, there's like 9 references to Santa not being real.
I haven't watched it in such a long time.
And
it
it's
makes
just like,
kind of makes sense.
I've got a 6-year-old.
What? Yeah.
I don't need that being thrown into like. Look, I didn't grow up with this. Okay, I grew up. Make sure you don't let kids at school know.
Yeah,
That's my advice around Christmas. Don't grow. So to see all sorts of things when you have a kid, the magic in their eyes about things that they believe, and it's beautiful. And whether it's Christmas time or another time of year, anything, whatever faith, like those things are beautiful. And then like the protectiveness that came into me the first time, what is this? I grabbed the TV remote, muted it, stopped streaming, turned it off, pulled the plug out of the power socket.
Punched the TV.
So I know it's an entertaining movie. I'm sure I'll watch it more at a later point with him, but I've got a grievance with that movie right now.
I'm sorry, Loz, but the NFL Afters is for kids, so we need to edit that whole bit out. That's our first edit point of today. It's also the first time I've said that this whole season. Just a reclap. Reclap.
How do you reclap?
No. All right, just reminding everyone, you've got the Muppet Christmas Carol at 5.
Nailed it.
The Grinch at 4.
Perfect.
Santa Claus at 3.
Grumpy.
Home Alone at 2. The first Home Alone. And Die Hard at 1. There you go. Merry Christmas.
Beautiful.
And finally, the general knowledge question.
Yeah.
What is the world record for the longest hiccuping spree? Is it A, 68 years, or B, 50 years?
A, 68 years.
Certainly is.
Nailed it. Closed well.
Yeah, well done.
Limping off the line, but...
Do you want my last Christmas joke? Or do you want to wrap up first?
No, give me the last Christmas joke.
Okay, this one. You'll love this one.
Yeah.
Because you're a parent.
Yes.
What is every parent's favorite Christmas carol?
What?
Silent Night.
You know, folks, at some points of today, amongst the football heartache that I was going through, I wondered how I was going to get up for the show with the usual vim and vigor that I like to bring to the show. And I think for the best part of an hour, we got there, but that last one has broken me. So on this humble, respectful note, we are going to wish you a very, very happy holidays. Whichever holidays you're celebrating, have a phenomenal holidays. holiday period, spend it with loved ones and family, and enjoy your football because there's a ton of good stuff over this breather. We'll be back in early January, the next episode of NFL Afters. In between now and then, I'm sure from my deck and from dog walks for Jimmy, there'll be NFL takes flying off on the socials, but have a lovely holiday period. This has been the Week 16 pre-Christmas edition of NFL Afters, brought to you by our friends at PointsBet. I am Laurie.
And I am Jimmy.
And we won't see you next week, but following that, same time, same channel, same place, same football mayhem. Happy holidays.
Dallas sucks. Go Birds.
Once again, that is unfortunately true.